Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're here at the SDCC Skybound Lounge. It's day 3 here in San Diego. Thankfully, it actually cooled down a little bit, right? It's kind of nice. We've got Chris Dingess here, the writer and creator of Manifest Destiny, and of course joining us as well, Swifter.
Hey.
Chris!
Hello.
How's your San Diego Comic-Con been?
It's been great. I didn't get here till last night. I spent like an hour on the floor, but it's been fun.
Good. You have some panels that are still going on today or tomorrow?
I just did a signing at the Skybound booth, and tomorrow I'm doing the Skybound Comics panel, but that's it.
How are those signings at the booth? Like, talk to me about those a little bit.
They're, for me right now, they're a very good ego check because like today, I feel like mostly everyone who wanted a Manifest Destiny signed, the last couple of times I've done them, has had them signed. So like the first 10 minutes, there's like people. And then I sit there, and I was between Ed Brubaker and the guys from The Wicked and the Divine.
Oh, I saw your tweet,
So I'm like, there's like empty space and then just 2 massive crowds. But it was fun. I got to meet like people that I sort of met on Twitter and stuff like that. I recognized them from their avatar, and it was nice to actually get to chat with some people.
That's cool.
No, but it was fun.
Well, let's talk about Manifest Destiny.
Okay.
Book I'm a big fan of. Swifter will tell you we exchange recommendations, and I'm always like, you need to read Manifest Destiny. You need to read it. But give especially for Swifter here, give like the Manifest Destiny pitch.
So Manifest Destiny is the real story of what happened on Lewis and Clark's journey west with the core of discovery. It's basically the premise is that the journal that you're forced to read in middle school, junior high, is the first great lie that the American government sold its people. And the core of discovery is actually the first Black Ops mission.
Oh, man.
To go west and clear the land because it's full of monsters and demons. And that's how we got it so cheap in the Louisiana Purchase. Napoleon was a shrewd businessman. And instead of wasting valuable resources killing monsters, he decided to focus on killing the English and sold off the territory.
And I like that you say the real story, the real story.
Yeah, oh yeah, no.
And I was trying to, because at first, and our other host Zeke is from Billings, Montana, so he's like, he went to Lewis and Clark High School, and like the trail like it goes through him. But I was trying to explain to him like, it's not what you think it is. Like the truth has been covered up. You need to learn about the history of what existed, as they were making this trek across.
This is it. I just want to enlighten the people.
Right, exactly.
Through comic books.
Exactly. We're coming up on. I think I'm wrong here, but is it the 21st issue that's about to be released?
I think 21 actually came out Wednesday.
Okay, just it came out. All right.
Yeah. It came out, and then they're doing, here at Comic-Con, they have a Comic-Con exclusive cover. It's one of the ones where Negan from The Walking Dead is moving through the different Skybound properties and getting ready and assaulting.
Right. I think actually we might have one of those panels hanging over on the wall.
I want to check that out.
There's some really great art all around here. So. So I mean, like fan reception to the book. Do you feel like was this a book that it took people a few issues to be like, oh, I see what's going on here, because it's not necessarily like a.
Yeah, I think people picked up the first issue for various reasons. Some people like history, some people like alternative history, and I think there's people who will just pick up any Skybound book because they know it's going to be something weird. Something with a twist to it. And then we sort of started the first issue off with straight history for like the first 6 pages. And then we let things get weird. And then I think people started to pick up on that with, the monsters and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been so much fun.
Are you then kind of like, do you have racked up in your brain sort of like all, yeah.
Right, like, is there an end game in mind?
There is. I know exactly how I want to end the book, which is hopefully way, way, way down the road, as long as people are buying it and we're having fun doing it. Yeah, I know exactly what I want the last panel to be. I mean, it's way down the road.
Yeah, but so in terms of like some of the creatures,
Yes.
some of the people that we may know about in history, but might actually have a totally different story.
Maybe some of that, some of the creatures. What I actually like to think up ahead are themes. Like, I mean, Sasquatch was that wasn't even a theme. It's like, we knew we were going to eventually do Sasquatch.
Right.
Matt Roberts has, I think since day one, been chomping at the bit to draw some Sasquatch.
I've got to draw him.
But we were going to wait until we got farther out west, because I feel like he's more associated with stuff west of the Rockies. But what I like to do when I'm coming up with creatures is sort of look at maps and look at urban legends and cryptozoology for different states and areas that they're moving through, and put like a spin on it. And people had claimed I think everyone in every state's claimed they've seen a Bigfoot.
Right.
But I think we're sort of in the Dakotas, so we're a little close enough now, and we'd taken a hiatus and we wanted to come back with something big, so we went ahead and did Sasquatch, which I don't want to ruin the end of the arc.
Yeah. Especially because I want this guy.
Yeah, I
I
don't want to ruin the
dive
surprise.
in. But it sounds like like a mental image of this map and this route and just like all what like they'll capture along the way.
I sort of just every once in a while I go online and look at stuff, and then I go, so it's this thing. I don't want to do the exact thing, but I can take a little bit of the story. Like, I think in the previous arc there was the Van Meter, which was terrorizing the Fezron and lived in the arch. And I think where they were going through, there was this thing called the Van Meter Visitor. That sort of, I saw like someone had drawn a picture of it. I was like, oh, that's terrifying looking, and what does it do? And I sort of just put a spin on that and made it scary.
So, because, Lewis and Clark themselves have a spin, but I mean, other than journals and what has historically been documented, we don't necessarily know their personality. So, was there any research done in that regard, or were you just kind of like, okay, this is how we think we're going to position?
And I went into it with a fixed position of the two characters that I wanted, and I came in, I was like, I want them to sort of be like Butch and Sundance, Redford, and Newman.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of a million different combinations of characters. But then, I did reading and I did a little research, and that's where more Lewis than Clark, his personality, like when he tends to freak out on stuff, I feel like I'd read stuff like, this is a spoiler alert, not for the book, but for anyone who reads history. He killed himself. He had some erratic aspects to his personality.
Right.
And I didn't want to make him just this straight guy. I couldn't do the guy who's naive and always smiling at stuff and just kind of being the dork, while Clark's the rugged soldier.
Do you feel like that's the relationship between two characters have evolved since you've been writing it, and only because your comfort of starting to write them, and then also as the story progresses, right?
A little bit when they interact with other characters. I sometimes feel like I need to focus more on Clark, because he's just the solid tough guy. There's more of a danger to him becoming just kind of a standard run-of-the-mill character.
Right.
So
took a little time off, started then a new arc.
Right.
And currently in that one right now.
Uh-huh.
How much are you guys like planning ahead in terms of like the arcs and where you're gonna go? And
I usually will write. Matt and I are trying to race each other, and I'm always worried about being late. He's always worried about being late, and I'll email him and say, look, where are you in this? Because I'm afraid of falling behind. He's like, where are you? Because I'm and we've sort of overcome that because that was becoming a deadly contest of lateness. And but now I feel like we really got a handle on this arc. So what'll happen is I'll write, and I'll get ahead of the art on it, and then start thinking up what the next 6 issues are to give to Sean Makowitz, our editor. But I start to get the idea almost after I've written the first issue or so, or going into one arc, I'll already have an idea for what I want for the next arc or 2.
Right.
At least as far as themes go, and Jeopardy, and Sacagawea's pregnancy I've been trying to track.
Right.
So that's like a major that's like going to be a.
That's actually got to be really fun to sort of be, taking these historical real world events that we were all taught and know from the books, and then like being able to tell the real story, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've sort of at this point I've thrown a lot of the history out the window.
Right, I don't think anyone's fact checking.
Yeah, because I mean, at this point in the trip, she already had her children. And
right.
Stuff. Yeah.
So do you get like a lot of pushback from historians, people like buffs are like, no, why are you going in this direction, even though it's like a fictional kind of thing?
That one guy that writes in the letters every time.
Right.
He's like, listen, I'm going to point out all the historical inaccuracies. It's like he doesn't get it.
No one yet.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Maybe we should start trolling.
You should
there
do that. I have a couple people who I know have tried to troll me, but they haven't made the cut to get into the letters column.
So it's got to be a high level troll.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So step it up, but yeah, exactly.
Chris, talk to me about some of your, inspirations. We had Sean up here, and he was like, one of my favorite things about the cons is getting to meet other artists that I've always been fans of, or other writers who I've, enjoyed reading growing up. Who are your, what are your books? We always used to ask the question, if you were going to say you've got to read these books, this as well.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh my God.
What would that be?
I'd love to hear that.
Oh God, I'm terrible at I'm terrible at this kind of questions
What
I'll
else
and then
are you reading
won't.
now?
I'll draw a blank, and then I won't be able to shut up. But I guess stuff from when I was a kid. There was this book when I was a kid by I want to say Whitney Strieber, the guy who wrote. He wrote the Communion, the big alien abduction book. He's written a ton of books, but he wrote this book for kids called Wolf of Shadows, which I don't even think is in print anymore. And it's this post-apocalyptic. The nukes go off, and this is in the '80s when as a child of the '80s, I was terrified of the nukes.
Right.
I was so terrified of I would watch for some reason my parents would let me watch stuff like The Day After and stuff like that. And it's about a woman and her daughter surviving the apocalypse with a wolf. It's sort of like The Road, but for kids.
Sounds like a great kids book that I can't wait to buy.
I mean, it's horrific. But that really, when I was a kid, really sparked something creative, but also kind of dark. And but growing up, I read a ton of comic books. But I like visually for inspiration, the old Swamp Thing is amazing.
Right. I could see that.
Those books of the 70s, even Master of Kung Fu, Ghost Rider, the art of those books, they captured something like the Tomb of Dracula, even, where the character, it's dudes with cigarettes dangling out and they're wearing turtlenecks while they load a revolver. That's what I was this is such a cool world, but nowadays, if I ever have time to read,
I imagine, yeah.
I know, I don't. The book that I'm actually right now, I'm reading it's All Quiet on the Western Front, the World War I's fiction, which is.
That's only got a couple issues out, right? What?
No, it's a novel written by a soldier who was in World War. All's Quiet on the Western Front.
No, I'm thinking of something totally. I'm thinking of the Canadian U.S. War one.
I don't know.
I
That sounds cool.
I missed it.
But yeah, I'm reading that, and it's just really brutal. Have you read it?
I have not.
It's amazing. I would butcher the author's name now. Yeah, it's a German name if I tried to give it. But yeah, stuff like that. Just anything that has real human emotion in it and some darkness to it, I'm all about it.
Right. As far as working with Skybound, every one of the creators we've met have been awesome, yourself included. It's really great. I'm constantly impressed by all the great people that are there and contributing books. But
it's an amazing organization. I was just telling you right before we actually came on. They grabbed so many great creative people from so many different areas, Twitch included. It's been so much fun working for them.
How'd you guys connect? Like, how that initial relationship happened?
I had the idea for Manifest Destiny, and I got introduced to someone over there, and we were just talking, and another buddy said, "Hey, tell him your idea." I told him the idea, and it was like, he said, "I want to get this in front of Robert. But Robert is so busy, can you boil this whole concept down to one sentence so I can just fit it in the subject line of his email?"
And that probably took like a week just to do that, right? Or did you have it?
Secret History of Lewis and Clark, where they fight monsters, is like sort of like just as a boilerplate of where you can see what the art looks like and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it came down to, but so I did that, and then that started the conversation.
That's awesome.
It's ridiculous. And then I got partnered up with Matt, which is like winning the lottery as far as art goes. He's a genius.
Yeah, a lot of awesome detail. I think all those pages
It's
kind of blow me
insane.
away. Yeah.
He's so good at knowing when to do detail, but then you'll have those just really bizarre silhouette shots where he lets Owen Gianni kind of do his thing with colors.
Right.
It's fantastic.
Well, here's definitely to many, many more issues of
Thank you.
Manifest Destiny. There are there are three volumes.
And we're in the 4th story arc right now.
And you can get the latest issue right now. But Swifter, I'm
definitely
gonna
jump
be
on
following
that.
up
Sounds
on
awesome.
you
Yes, read
next
it.
year.
What are you
next
doing?
Year here. Next
Buy
year.
my book. I need the money.
Great
Help
story.
me.
I cannot wait to check it out.
Chris, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you so
Really
much.
appreciate it. We've got a ton more happening here from the Skybound Lounge. Don't go away. We will be right back.